him giving you space right there makes it so much more likely you win that round. But you're a little too hesitant, right? You have to recognize when you have the big lead. You have to recognize when you hold all the cards, and you have to bully people, right? One of the big things about improving, I think, is you have to understand when you can just kind of like slap your dick on someone's forehead and go from there, right? If you have a lead, you can play in ways that would not be viable if you didn't. You have to know how to push your advantage, and because you have these advantages, you have to play like you have them. You don't necessarily play the same way you would if you didn't. You can be more risky, more belligerent, right? Because if the risk goes wrong for you, it's fine, and if the risk goes wrong for your opponent, they lose. So you're playing with house money a little bit. All right, folks, we are back. More Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising, more replay review. 13 replays away from ending the backlog here, and we have Found Sounds, Lucy versus Gran set review. Content, okay, cool. 3-game set. I think I've been improving, but still feel like Gran puts me too far in the defense. Oh, you're the Lucilius. Or, still feel like Gran puts me too far in the defensive or reactive side of my game plan. Pretty cool finish to game 2 after dropping Kill Confirm, hoping to shore up my fundamentals as well as matchup specifics, working towards S++. I want to feel more authoritative in matches. Interesting. Okay, I already have an idea about this. Is a very interesting word to use, and I already have an idea for you, I think, but we'll see. So are you the Lucilius in this matchup? Let's see here. Yes, okay, cool. Let's get into this. Yeah, I mean, so it's an interesting one, right? So the big thing with replay reviews that I mentioned at the start of every single one of these, and I'm gonna keep mentioning, this gets a nice little, yardstick, I guess, is if you're analyzing your own replay and you don't know where to like find points of interest or things to improve on or whatever, very simple. If you get hit, if you lose your turn, right? Those two situations probably, theoretically, if you could never have that happen, you would just win by default. But also, if you do that enough, you'll notice like, I'm getting hit in like the same way a lot, or like in a lot of the same situations. You can start to like find patterns from there. Our brains are very good at recognizing patterns, right? But yeah, so like that's a good place to start. Is like every time you get hit, pause and think about why it happened. Every time you lose your turn, pause, think about why it happened. Right? Losing your turn being like, you're running offense, then suddenly you're blocking or something, right? Or like you lose neutral. All right, so as far as the other thing we always say, this whole aggressor defender stuff, it's super easy with Lucy, because Lucy, Lucy is just the best defensive character in the game. I think that's kind of, in my opinion, like if Lucy has a claim to top 1 in this game, it's because he, even against other characters that wants to like sit there and be defensive, there is no win condition in Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising, made by Cygames at Arc System Works. There is no win condition in this game currently that is as strong as Blade Level 5. Funny enough, the only thing in competition is Loane eating, but it's a lot more situational, right? But there is no win condition in the game as strong as that. So if you're playing slow and patient, Lucy is just going to win by default eventually. So Lucy forces everyone in the game basically to come to him. It's kind of like Cloud charging limits in Smash. I always like to think about it. He goes like, he's just sitting there, but he's gonna go fucking Genkai Koeru or whatever, and then you have to, then he's a god. But like, this is probably even better than Cloud's limit stuff. Anyway, sorry, little tangent. So Lucy is the defender in every matchup, and he also, just so happens, a very synergistic kit to have some of the best tools in the game to kill a motherfucker who's trying to run in on you, right? He has some of the best pokes in the game. He has some of the highest reward off those pokes, especially as his mid-screen damage has always been high, and then especially once he hits BL5, his pokes lead to like 11,000 damage. So in every matchup you play defensively, and then against Gran, you certainly do, right? So if you feel like Gran is kind of keeping you on the defensive, that's where you win in this matchup, right? You win here by playing defensive. And when I mean playing defensive, I don't just mean, we'll talk about it probably as we go on here, but I don't just mean down backing. I mean holding the space and making Gran scared to come in, while, as Lucilius, just like spamming your specials, so like that blade level bar is slowly going up. And Gran's like, I have to get in, because if I don't get in, he gets to BL5 and he becomes literally a raid boss. But I can't get in because he's holding his space so well, and he's like anti-airing me and shit, right? Playing defensive is not doing nothing, it's using your attacks in such a way to maximize the space between you and your opponent, whereas playing aggressive is trying to minimize that space, right? So let's see what you, so ground star backdash from you is pretty good. From the Gran's kind of weird, but sure. So let's see here what we got cooking. I like it. Sure. Ooh, okay. Kind of lost out on the air-to-air there. And the one thing is, when you're trying to play defensive, it can be very easy to find yourself out of screen space. You walk back too far, you're in the corner, right? That's why, again, playing defensive is not just running away. It's holding your space, not letting him run in on you, but like, you're not trying to get in, you're just trying to hold the space. You're trying to maintain the space between you. Sure. Good stuff. Like that, throwing out those kind of pokes, right? Like the far L right there. If he's, by the way, I mean, if he's going to do a lot of fireball, right? You can Tessera on reaction, basically, and kill him, right? Like, the other thing, too, one of the big reasons Lucilius is, like, the best defensive character in the game is that, like, Tessera is just one of the best anti-zoning moves in the game, for some reason, right? Like, if he's just going to be throwing these medium fireballs at you over and over, Grand's medium fireball is pretty good for fireball wars, because it has the 2 hits. It has, like, the sword, like, eats fireballs, and the medium fireball that shoots out after. But that little upswing means it's got a lot of startup, right? So, like, you can react to Grand throwing M fireball like that, Tessera him, and get a, like, if he's close enough to the corner, get a full combo. Otherwise, just, you know, get some damage, get some blade level, get some prio, and buy a lot of screen space for yourself. Like, if he M fireballs right now, and you, like, M Tessera, and just, like, you know, hip thrust him as you reappear, you don't even necessarily want to, like, run on him and kill him, but now, you're, like, all the way in the corner, and you have so much screen space to play with to just back up from him and just, like, spam your fireballs and, like, poke him on the way in and get to, like, blade level 5 off that alone, pretty much, right? Sure. This is I mean, that's good. I will say, though, I say it's good. It worked, is what I'll say. 2-2H, Tessera is one of the best anti-zoning tools in the entire game. It is kind of trolling to throw it out of neutral, right? Yeah, like, if you just Tessera in neutral, there's an option select that beats every single option, maybe even besides you, I think. But you have the big blue flash, obviously, so it's different, right? So, there's kind of two. You can either, like, delay a 2H or like 6XL right away. I prefer the 6XL one just because it's like easier because you don't have to delay it, right? You just like 6XL as soon as you see it happen. And if you if he does the M or L Tessera, you like straight up hit him and start a combo. If he does the H Tessera, he whiffs and you like +8, so you hit him and start a combo, right? So, like, don't do this in neutral, is one thing I'll say, right? It's a really good anti-zoning tool. It is a really bad neutral tool. For, you know, against knowers, anyway. This Graham might not be a knower. There's always, if you do it a couple times, he doesn't punish. If he, like, doesn't know, then exploit it. Because, like, if you can use Tessera as a free plus on block neutral skip, then, yeah, use it, but... Okay, you're at BL5. Cooldown's kind of low. Honestly, this is, can I say right away, this is very good, right? I think... Sometimes there's, like, some idea of, like, okay, I'm, like, playing defensive to get... Thanks for the review, it's me? Yeah, Phantom, I know. I think sometimes there's, like, this idea of, like, okay, I'm playing towards my win con. In Lucilius' case, I get BL5. All right, cool. I have my win con. Time to go in and play like a gorilla, right? But, like, while, yes, you are very strong right now, because you have the health lead here, it's, and like, because you're at BL5, which means, one, you do more damage, which means your specials do more chip, right? Because chip is a percentage of the base damage of the move, right? I actually don't know if BL5 scales chip, but I think it does. Even if that's not true, your cooldowns are like 2 seconds. So you just become a fucking chip machine right now. So I like not just running in and being like, okay, I can kill him now. Because that might work, but your highest probability chance to win here is sitting back and just, like, chipping him out to death, right? I ended up making it to S++ again recently, nice. Also, you have to really not let him get in on you because you have no brave points. This is a very bad spot for you now. He doesn't know, okay, he's not a knower, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, gotcha, that's unfortunate on the 2H right there. I think that the big thing here is, like, don't, like, this should be illegal, right? Like, him doing this. Of course, you're not going to react to this, but, like, you should be, from full screen especially, right? From full screen especially, there's, like, no safe way for him to just punish you just, like, throwing out some bullshit, right? You're able to still on cooldown, to be fair, right? Like, now it's basically not, right? Already, I'll throw another fireball, right? You could, I mean, he could, like, dash up. He could, like, from that time, he could, like, fully commit to dashing up and jumping last second and do something, but, like, you holding the space is the big important thing here. You have to hold the space against this guy. Because at this point, it's a very tough place for you to win, even before you get hit here, right? I like the 2H was unfortunate. He's kind of, you know, he made it, he spaced it out very well, right? But, like, once he's in your face like that, you have no brave points, and he has 3. Funny enough, like, this situation is actually a winning, like, this is advantage grand. You're Lucilius, you're on blade level 5, right? And you know, you have this huge health lead, but he has 3 brave points, right? Turns out I lied. Actually, the strongest thing in this game is not BL5, it's brave counter, right? So he can brave counter 3 times, he can brave counter no times, right? So this is what you want to avoid like the plague, right? So He actually gives you some space back too. Here, like even here, he gives you some. He should not do that, right? He's scared, obviously. Like he should not. Yes, he's scared, but like if he backs up this way, like he's gonna die if he doesn't do something, right? He's gonna die if he doesn't do something anyway. So like he trying to do less to So that he wins when he takes a risk. But like when he gives you some space here, bro, Iblis, right? Fireball immediately, right? Fireball into Tessera into like just put him on chip, right? Him giving you space right there makes it so much more likely you win that round. But you're a little too hesitant, right? You have to recognize when you have the big lead. You have to recognize when you hold all the cards, and you have to bully people, right? One of the big things about improving, I think, is you have to understand when you can just kind of like slap your dick on someone's forehead and go from there, right? If you have a lead, you can play in ways that would not be viable if you didn't. You have to know how to push your advantage, and because you have these advantages, you have to play like you have them. You don't necessarily play the same way you would if you didn't. You can be more risky, more belligerent, right? Because if the risk goes wrong for you, it's fine, and if the risk goes wrong for your opponent, they lose. So you're playing with house money a little bit. He is. So yeah, obviously this year is, it's RPS. Sure, he jumps the fireball right as you throw it. That is unfortunate, certainly. That's a tough one. It's a lot of damage. Wake up to you. Okay, sure. It's a little risky. It worked, but it's a little risky. Oh, dude. That's a nice... Grand's JH is a lot better than I give it credit for, I will say. It hits, like, really deep. Yeah, so, okay, here's another thing, right? So, again, normally I talk about how, like we just mentioned, Lucilius is the strongest defensive character in the game, and, like, he's a defender in every situation. Cool. Again, I said this last video, I'll say it again here, but, like, that assumes even footing. That assumes round start, that assumes relatively even footing. Here, I think you need to, personally, right, you'll notice again, just like when you have a lead, you have to know how to play when you have a lead. You have to know that you can, like, sort of big dick your way through the game a little bit. Here, you're in a bad spot. You're not close to BL5. You're even on Brave points, right? You're low on health. You have some more meter. The only thing you have going for you is your screen space. That is your advantage. That is the only thing that is in your favor right now. Is Grand's in the corner and you're not. Everything else, and the meter, I guess. Like, you get a lot of reward if you do hit him, right? You can get like an SBA and then make your Brave point situation even better, right? Those are the things in your that are going your way. When only one thing is going your way, that's called a bad round. That's like you're gonna have a hard time winning. But if you don't play towards the one thing going your way, then you have no things going your way, and you just lose by default, right? So what I mean by this is, in this case, me personally, right? I will be looking for an opportunity here to actually go on the offensive, potentially. So this Grand runs up and throws you. This is really clever by the Grand, right? So Grand here actually, like, the reason he does this is because what you should do is, if Grand, like, 6XLs you, like some people might, like, default to, right? You will Brave counter them, and then, like, you have to just hope you can kill them, right? At that point, they have a Brave point, you don't. It's not a great situation for you, but, like, you can try to get a bait going or something. Lucy has some, like, Brave point safe setups with, like, the M Iblis, right? Do something. So it's actually very smart by the Grand here to run up, stop, and throw you in case you were trying to Brave counter, right? You both actually tried to throw, but the fact he did it so quickly, it means he was trying to do it as well, even though you did it first. But again, if I'm you, I'm looking for a spot here to keep this Grand in the corner, potentially find a spot to Brave counter, and go from there, right? Because the one thing we have going for us is, if we find the hit on this Grand, we'll do a lot of damage, we'll get our Brave point that we just spent potentially back, and we'll be at a resource lead at that point. And also, he's in the corner, right? Both of those things kind of synergize together. So I'm looking for an opportunity to keep this Grand in the corner. Not even this, I don't even know necessarily that I want to zone him at this point, right? Like, he jumps over this, cool. But, like, even excluding that, I don't want to zone him right now. I want to find an opportunity to get kind of close and either poke him out, right? But if he gets close to me, almost like let him do it to Brave counter him, to get the hard knockdown, to get the pressure going, right? And this is the thing that's stupid about BC, right? Like the sentence I just said there is why BC should not hard knockdown on Brave counter, because the idea that, like, I'm gonna let my opponent start offense so their offense can become my offense is not super fun, right? But you know what? As it stands, that's in the game, right? So if I'm you, I'm finding an opportunity to be able to BC this dude, or otherwise take my turn. I'm not backing up like this, right? Whether it's BC, whether it's pokes, whether it's whatever, backing up like this, guess what? You now have nothing going for you. You've spent your meter on the fireball. You don't have the screen space advantage anymore. You're even on resource BP-wise, and he has way more health than you. Nothing, and you're not at BL5 either. Nothing is going your way anymore. Here, one thing was going your way in this situation, and you gave it up, right? So I like that, and I think that's why you lose that round. It's like you have to just guess right like 3 times in a row to win from that situation, right? So the same way, when everything is going in your favor, you can like really just loop. You can spend all your resources at once to like just like really ham fist the risk reward, right? You can spend all of your, if you like have health, you have brave points on them, you've got screen space on them, you've got meter on them, you've got like, you know, matchup on them or something. You can spend all of that to just like brute force your way into a win. That's great. But you shouldn't do that when it's even. You should do that when you're ahead, right? However, when you only have one thing going for you, opposite. You have to find that one thing and cling to it like it's gold, right? Okay, sure. Again, a little careful with the Tesseras, but off a block string, it's at least a little bit more real. It's at least a little bit more real. A little bit harder to react to because you're in. I mean, you have to hit the button a little bit quicker because you're in block stun. It's like you can't action as quickly. Sure. It's a better round for you, certainly. Good 2H. I will say, in a matchup like this, where your main goal is to keep him away from you, converting off these 2Hs is kind of important, right? If we're talking about S++, we're talking about you made it to S++, you're trying to push to Master, stuff like that, right? Because the big thing is you want Gran to feel uncomfortable. The goal as a defensive player is to make it, again, so the offensive player feels like they have to get in, but they can't, right? That's the mental state you want them in. And again, fighting games, it's all about, like, putting your opponent in a mental state where they can't face you anymore, right? Like, they just, like, they lose the mind game. And, one of the ways that one of the important things to make them feel like options aren't like worth doing is if they've, you know, all the times they've tried that option previously, it's like killed them or done a lot of damage, right? So this 2H is nice in the short term in that it keeps him off you, right? And it does still signal to him like, okay, he's like awake, like he's 2Hing these, right? But if this 2H had like killed him, which it maybe could have, or at the very least got him close to death, right? Then he starts becoming he's either a lot more wary to jump, which is good because that limits his options to get in, or if he keeps jumping, I mean, just keep 2Hing him until he stops, right? Like kill his ass. So that converting a little bit better off that, I think, would have been important there, right? Hello, Ash. How's it going? How are you doing on this beautiful Sunday afternoon? That punished? Oh, that was very unfortunate for him. Just barely whiffed. Could have gotten the kill right there. He's still in a good spot. Nice. Yeah, the brave counter is exactly what you do here. Push your lead, right? This is the other situation, right? This right here, this is gonna be this kind of the main. So the reason I'm focusing on this, right? The reason I'm focusing on this is because you mentioned you wanted to be more authoritative in these games, right? And I think a good way to be authoritative is to recognize game states, right? Know when if you can know when you're ahead, and you understand what makes a lead and what makes an advantage, right? That recognition can sort of fill in for confidence. Maybe you wouldn't be as confident if things were even. You wouldn't be as authoritative. You wouldn't be just like smacking your balls down on them as much if things were even. But if you can recognize when everything is going your way, right? Then you can really start playing a lot more confidently. This is one of those cases, and this is the correct, like this is good, right? You have health on him. You basically have meter on him. It's roughly even. You're almost at BL5.
This person
right?
is incredibly smart and attractive.
The only thing is that you're not, like, technically he has a little bit of screen space on you, right? But here, like, you can kind of just big dick this Gran. Your good play across the rest of the round has earned you, and like some luck, because that's always how it is in fighting games. Cheeky. Thank you very, very much for the 7 months right there. You are grand mustard, so true. Your good play and like just lucky guesses on RPS or whatever have earned you this lead. Now benefit from it. Don't play the same way you would if things were even. And I say all this because like you don't, right? Like the fact that the very first, like, you know, spend your resources. Whether it's do something risky to try and spend your health, cool. Do something like spend some meter to try and pressure him, right? Use a U skill, or spend the BP. That's the safest option usually, right? Spend the BP, right? And again, good to like at this point you can try to chip him out, right? If I'm you. Yeah, I would have done that quicker, I think. You can do U skills when other skills are on cooldown, right? Now, the Graham might double roll, right? But I think it's the kind of thing you can, like, even if he does, he's not going to kill you because you have a brave point advantage and a health advantage and everything, right? So, like, maybe you could have even done Iblis into you Iblis right there, right? And if he blocks it, you win because he's on chip and you're plus, like, 45. Even if he doesn't block it, who cares, right? And this is combining two of your advantages, right? Kind of three, but let's say two. It's your big health lead and your big meter lead. So you can use your U skills, because U skills kind of by definition, kind of they fuck up the balance of the game, right? They're stronger options that you wouldn't normally have access to. You can use a U skill to force an advantage, and even if he finds the counterplay to that U skill, you don't lose. And if he doesn't, you win, right? Like, that's a heavy-handed situation. That's like, you're really brute forcing your way through the risk reward, trying to get a victory here. But that's fine, because you have these advantages, right? So you do it later, that's okay. It's not, you still kill him, that's fine. But I think you could have even done it earlier, just to, like, keep up the pressure, right? You are ahead, play like you're ahead, right? If you're like the stronger, better, faster guy, healthier guy, you should be pressuring the other guy, right? All that, like, and it doesn't have to be like that you run up to them, right? In this case, Lucilius is still the defensive character here. It's not like you're, like, rushing him down, but, like, use your projectiles, put him on chip, make him do something, force him to do something risky, right? Force him to take a big risk to have any chance of coming back in the game. Make him panic. It's a mind game, right? Okay. I'll say, so again, playing defensive is not just backing up. You're backing up, you have to hold your space a little bit better against this Granathan, right? There's no reason that Gran is winning this Fireball War right now. Or, like, there's no shot this is happening, right? And you jumping on him, it only kind of becomes a thing now because you've pushed yourself to the corner, right? Gran has to get in. Another thing that's going to make you authoritative is, again, it's I think understanding things at first principles makes you confident doing stuff in moments, right? Because, like, at the end of the day, the worry, the thing that makes you not authoritative, makes you not confident, is just, like, the fear of having your guess be wrong, right? However, if you, when you're calmer, you learn, you understand, you know how things work, that can give you the confidence to be like, you know, yes, at sometimes it's an 80-20 in your favor and you lose the 20 comes up. That's fine. But if I understand what my best scenarios are and I play to them, right? As a layer 1, obviously, like, you eventually have to adapt when you can start playing really good people. You can't just, like, do the default thing your character does. But if I understand my good situations and I play to them, I can do that with confidence no matter what happens in the match. I'll say it a lot of the time, for example, when I'm playing with Diva, where I'm like, if I command grab someone and they jump it, it's like, well, right, that's what my character does. I can't... Diva's like a slot machine. It's, like, way worse than Lucilius in terms of the consistency of the strong thing about you, but, like, still, it's like, well, what am I gonna do? Like, not get gas? I don't even look at gas prices. Because, like, what am I gonna do? Not command grab? I'm a grappler, right? Like, I know going in that, like, I am built around this 50-50 mix. So, like, if someone jumps it, what am I gonna stop doing it and just, like, die? No. I just, you know, I'll find ways to condition it, stuff like that, try to, like, make the command grab more likely to hit, whatever. But at the end of the day, if I know what my character does and I understand the matchup and I understand, like, the puzzle pieces at play, then even if I play them and it doesn't work out, I can still be confident in the decisions that I made, right? So one thing is understanding resources and leads and who's ahead and who's behind as the game state progresses. The other thing is, at a baseline, you need to know, you have to have confidence in the fact that if Gran doesn't get in here, Gran is on a timer, right? If Gran can't get on you, he loses by default. Because eventually, you get to BL5, and it's just like the odds of him winning that, if you're, like, both on full health, or full brave points, roughly, and you have BL5 and he's just a Granathan, the odds of him winning that are so low, right? Like, it's just, the risk reward gets so incredibly skewed in your favor at that point. So, he has to get in, and you don't, right? You're chilling. Like, you, all you have to do is keep the Gran away, right? So, what I say this, because you don't need to do, you really don't need to do this, right? Why? You don't need to do that. Well, like, why do you want to get it on the Granathan? Right? If anything, even if this jump in works, if he blocks this and you're plus in his face now, even that's not that good. Because now all he has to do is, like, find one escape from your offense, and suddenly you guys are right in each other's faces, which is where he wants to be, not where you want to be, right? You want to hold the space between you, and so that's why the other thing here is, like, don't feel the need to run away. Another thing you can be confident in from first principles, right, is that you just have really good buttons. You have good ass buttons, and if Gran is running at you, you can just poke his ass out pretty well, right? So I like that to me, I would say, is like, I think he's throwing fine things neutral, is not understanding the spaces too well. He's running away a little much for my liking, right? Like, I think it's important to recognize that playing defensive is not running away. It's holding space, right? And sometimes running away, but like that's the last resort, essentially, right? Because screen space again is another resource, and you pay in screen space. So you can run out of screen space if you run away too much, which is basically what happens here. And I think it's why you end up feeling the need to jump, right? Because like you end up pretty close to the corner, so you feel the need to like do something aggressive to get out of the corner. But like you didn't, this didn't have to be this way in the first place, right? Like now you're in the corner, and now things are just bad for you, right? Like now the corner is just, it's not a good place to be. Obviously, I don't think that needs too much explanation there, right? He does more damage, and also you can't adjust your spacing nearly as easily, right? Like this round was probably not, I would say it was like lost at round start. That's like way too dramatic, but like you backing up so much, like you just get strong on wake up there and you ate a combo. He could have killed you off of 2, he didn't, but yeah. This I will say, be careful of this. Yeah. So just talking about like little things. This thing's minus. I wouldn't just like do this into nothing. Certainly, I definitely wouldn't do that into far M. I don't know what the fuck the grand hit right there, right? But like you should get counter hit for this. I don't know. Did he 2M? He had to be so late, right? But like I definitely would not just throw out far H into mash, right? This if you want to cancel it on block into like a special to get some plus frames, cool, awesome. But like this into far M, nah, it worked that time. But that's not it. Grand should certainly have killed you for that. I'm not entirely sure what he's working with there. Yeah, confirming like stray hits into Iscariot is huge for Lucy too, certainly. Okay, sure. Yeah, like right there, this confirming like if you get a far, actually Iscariot's on cooldown, right? It's the back. Is it back or down? I think it's back. Never mind. I'm sorry. But you could have still converted this into more. You probably get like fireball here into like a full like corner to corner combo or something. I mean, you have SSBA. I don't know if Lucy's SSBA actually works here. You can Raging Strike to get CDs back. True. And again, it's another point of like, yes, maybe Raging Strike wouldn't be, it's a spend of resources that might be better used on Brave counter. But guess what? You have 3 Brave points. This guy has 1, right? Another point of like, you have a big resource advantage. Play towards your advantages right now, right? You're down on health, but you have a lot of meter, and you're currently like you have like you're comboing him. Obviously, that's fine. But you have a lot of meter and you have a lot of Brave points. So spend one or the other to extend your lead and make the game more even health-wise, right? So I would have view Fireball there, or Jesse's got a point, you could Raging Strike as well. And then eventually you can get your cooldown back and get the Iscariot Ender to get some blade level. Or yeah, you can do this too, certainly. Like this is certainly fair. But you could have done this off the other hits, right? You could have converted into SSBA, I think, off the first hit there. But you got a second hit, and I think his ass is dead. In retrospect, I would have converted that farm to UA Blaze. Yes, I think I agree. He's not dead here, I don't think, unfortunately, but we don't get the shit your pants noise. Lucilia 0 flashbacks. This doesn't work, does it? The fireball's too slow? Yeah. Yeah, that's not the anti-projectile move he's hoping for there. All times where the Grand sitting in 6XL range as well and you aren't repping the option at all. Yeah, it's true that, yeah, even if, I mentioned this at the very beginning, but it's probably worth reiterating, right? Even if you're playing defensively, quote unquote, one, it doesn't mean running away, it means holding your ground, and if you have to, running away to like get some better spacing. But also, you never want to do just one thing forever, right? Because you will get predictable. So like, if you're playing defensively, what that actually means is that like, 70-75% of the time, you're playing that hold your ground game, right? But you do have to like switch things up, or else you get predictable, and if you're predictable, you just die, right? At the end of the day, it's all RPS. You can jump over your fireballs, you can, there's an answer to everything you do. So yeah, if you do find a moment where like, I can like run some in-his-face offense right now, that will make your defensive play more effective, because he'll have another thing on his mind, and he might just pick the entirely wrong counterplay as a result, right? He might try to like preemptively poke sub 6XL, and you whiff punish him with a far end or something like that, right? So like, even if the plan is play defensively, right? Every now and then you should definitely switch it up just to remain unpredictable. But like, it's all about finding that mix, and like that finding that mix is the interesting part. Depends on the character, depends on the matchup. Ooh, okay, sure. Got load. Okay, a little funny, but some spaghetti from both of you. No worries. Happens. You Iscariot, sure. I like it because it puts him in basically a one-touch now. This is a well-played offensive sequence so far. Again, be a little careful with the Iscariot. That was a good offensive sequence. I like it. You know, spend again, right? Think about it. What do you have right now? And you did this correctly, right? Like, your health isn't in your favor. Brave point's not in your favor. You're not that close to Blade level 5, right? But what you do have a lot of is meter. You have the meter advantage here. So I love spending the meter advantage, one, to like lessen his health advantage. At this point, he's in the corner. We'll talk about that too, which means that both of you die in one hit anyways, basically, right? But also, it puts him in the corner, right? So you convert your meter advantage partially. You still have more meter than he does, but you convert it into a screen space advantage, right? But yes, that's all I was saying earlier too, Jesse. Yeah, don't Iscariot in neutral, Tesseract neutral rather is what I mean to say. Don't like this Grand's not a knower. People will kill you for this. People who know the Lucilius matchup will just like you don't have to like it's like a pretty easy reaction check into like an option select, right? It doesn't even matter what version you do. You just kill him for it. Okay, wait, what happened here? You just tried to throw out the sword and you got bopped. Is that right? Oh, he rolled it? Oh, interesting. He rolled it and then you tried to to 6XL at him. He was quicker on the draw. Sure. Happens. Yeah, Tessera is like one of the best anti-zoning tools in the game. It's a very bad neutral option. Whoa, that's a misinput or something. I guess you wanted to anti-air him? I will say, with invincible anti-airs, there's no rush, right? If you hit him the frame before he hits you, you're fine, right? It's like with invincible anti-airs like this, there's no rush, man. Maybe you thought he was going to be in range, but like, no rush at all. Because it's frame 1 invuln, right? So if you hit him the frame before he gets you, you're fine. Else plus. Oh, else plus. Oh, baby. Okay. This Grand is letting you get away with some stuff, certainly. Sure. Sure. So, this is one of them. Okay, that worked. I was gonna say this is one of them situations, right? Where like again, what's going for you right now? You're low on health. You're in the mid screen. You have a turn going. That's good. You have offense. That's a big deal, right? But you have less meter. You have less health. You have fewer brave points. What's the win condition you can try to play towards here, right? And notably, there's a little pink bar in the bottom of your screen that is almost at game over mode, right? Listen, you play aggressively here and like you poke him out and you somehow catch him with this, cool. But I think realistically, you have some screen space to work with after you poke him out with the far M here and he blocks it, right? If I'm you, I think you just like you play to get level 5, right? However you can, right? Play to get level 5. Whether that's like if you can get a combo, yeah, and like end your put a bunch of specials in your combo, and then like if you can hit confirm something, that's amazing, right? But otherwise, if you can't, like back up, spend some screen space to get to level 5, right? Throw some specials out, do some zoning, whatever, right? This works, sure, but like, you know, it's a little surprising that it does work. I'll say, right? It's not your most consistent way out of that bind. I'll say. I mean, now you're in a great spot, yeah, and the Grand Panics. Okay. Wait a minute, I know Lucilius? Yeah, it's Phantom. All right. So let's talk here, right? So I'm not gonna like I've already said a lot, so I'm not sure that I'm going to like repeat myself too much because I have a bad habit of that, right? But hoping to shore up my fundamentals as well as matchup specifics, working towards S++. Want to feel more authoritative in matches, right? So again, I think if you want to feel more authoritative, if you want to have more confidence comes from knowledge, right? In my opinion, confidence comes from knowing what is good and what isn't and playing accordingly. And that varies by matchup and that varies by character, right? But if you, and it can also come from, again, an understanding of when you are ahead, right? Like if you know what things make a lead, right? Like if you know like, okay, the things to look out for as are health, meter, brave points, screen space, and also then any character specifics, right? Like if it's a good space for you, whatever. Like if you're like, if maybe you're like a zoner and you have a full screen, that's a thing going for you, right? Maybe you're a grappler and you're at full screen, that's not a thing going for you. And in this case, well, your blade meter, right? For Lucilius, your blade meter is like one of the huge things that could either be bad for you or good for you. You know, if the round's almost over, you're at level 1, then it's not a play around. If the round is maybe almost over, you're at 4.5. That's a build around, right? Like that's that's one of the things you could play towards. So understanding what makes a lead, understanding when you have a lead, being able to at a glance be like, oh shit, I'm ahead. That'll make you play more confidently, right? And again, playing more confidently in the form of pushing that lead, right? If you have more brave points, use them. If you have more health than he does and you're not going to die the next time he hits you, do more risky shit, where if you're right, he dies, and if he's right, you don't die, right? If you have more meter, brute force it with you skills. If you're almost at BL5, either hit confirm something into Scariant, or if you can't find the hit, then like back up and like throw specials until you are. Because he also can see that bar. He can see that you're almost at BL5. So if you're just like backing up and throwing Iblisses and shit, he's like, fuck, I have to get in, man. Lucius is gonna fucking kill me. I have to go. And then he's gonna start doing more risky things. Or he won't, in which case you get the BL5 and you probably kill him, right? At that point, like, yeah, you can do whatever the fuck you want at level 5. Yeah, Jesse's saying you can zone. Absolutely. You can do whatever you want, right? Your risk rewards, and if you get one far M, he dies probably. Like, once you're level 5, you do whatever the hell you want. It'll work out, right? But that, if you're looking for more confidence and like to pick options with more authority, then I think it comes from those things, right? Yeah, we also smaller scale stuff. Jesse brought up a lot of good points in the chat there. I mentioned some of them, I think. Like, yeah, like, you know, making sure your pressure is like structured a little bit more safely, maybe. Like, there's definitely times that you take like big risks on like far H minus on block into mash on your minus frames, or like, you know, H Tessera in neutral or on offense, so you don't have to, right? So like you could do a little bit less of that, right? Understanding the spacing you want to be at, holding your ground, right? Again, if this matchup is you playing defensively, I'm going to say it one more time, and I've been repeating it over and over, playing defensively is not running away. It is holding your ground as much as you can, and only if you have to, running away, right? Poking, fireballs. Try to stand in exactly the same spot you are, while not letting him get closer, right? You run away a little bit too much for my liking. But yeah, that I think is about it, right? All right, that's about it. Hope that was useful, Phantom. I said, appreciate the comments. I'm glad to hear it. I guess we're doing fucking one video, one replay of video today. There's been a lot to talk about in a lot of these. Who knows? But it's been a little bit since I've done some replay review. I guess I got lots of ideas to talk about. But yeah, that's gonna do it. We're gonna do more. I think we're just doing replay review today. We're gonna do Grand Blue tomorrow as well. Is the plan. Listen, I like Guilty Gear, but I think I was like, I would rather be playing Grand Blue or Street Fighter right now, I think, instead of playing Guilty Gear. Even though it's fun, I'm okay. It's not my number one choice. So we'll be playing some more Grand Blue tomorrow. We'll actually play the video game then. We have a fun thing we're doing lazy then too. But for today, I think it's just, let's work through this replay review backlog. This is also a good time. I do enjoy doing this personally. But yeah, that's going to do it. VOD watchers, you know how it is. Like the video, subscribe, become a member if you'd like. I would appreciate that greatly, but no pressure, of course. Come join the Discord, join the stream, link in all the links and all the descriptions right there. Just be nice, or I'll shoot you in the head in Minecraft. Most importantly, hope you had a great time hanging out today, as always. I know I sure did. Very informative set from Phantom right here, Found Sound. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.